Trillionaire Olumide Adeyemi had spent 2 decades pouring his heart and his fortune into what he believed was a secure future for his only granddaughter. Month after month, year after year, he transferred vast sums into a trust fund worth over $8 million, convinced it was shielding her from the harsh winds of life in Nigeria's bustling cities. He pictured her in elite schools, surrounded by books on African history, perhaps even traveling to their ancestral village in Enugu to connect with their roots. But when his team of elite investigators delivered the shattering truth, finding the 20-year-old Amara shivering in a crowded Lagos shelter, her once vibrant spirit dimmed by hunger and abandonment, Olumide's world imploded. Storming into the lavish villa he'd unknowingly funded, he locked eyes with her treacherous aunt and unleashed the question that exposed a web of deceit so vile it would make your blood run cold. Where is her $8 million trust fund? If you've ever wondered how far greed can destroy a family, this story will shock you. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because stories like this need to be heard. Now let's peel back the layers of this heart-wrenching tale, one that weaves through the opulent boardrooms of Abuja, the gritty streets of Lagos, and the timeless traditions of West African heritage. It's a story of unimaginable betrayal, but also of unbreakable resilience, the kind that rises from the ashes like a phoenix in an ancient Yoruba legend. Picture this: Olumide Adeyemi, a titan of industry at 75, sitting in his sprawling study atop one of Abuja's tallest skyscrapers. The room is a masterpiece of African elegance, walls lined with intricate Benin bronzes, a massive desk carved from Iroko wood, and floor-to-ceiling windows framing the chaotic beauty of the Nigerian capital below. The sun dips low, casting golden hues over the city, but Olumide's face is shadowed, his mind a storm of calculations and conquests. He's built a trillion-dollar empire from humble beginnings in a small Yoruba village, oil rigs dotting the Niger Delta, tech startups revolutionizing mobile banking across Africa, and luxury real estate that rivals Dubai's skyline. Philanthropy is his badge of honor. He's funded schools in Kano, clinics in Accra, and cultural festivals in Dakar. But today, all that fades as private investigator Kwame Okafor, a former Nigerian Special Forces operative with a no-nonsense demeanor and a faint scar across his cheek from a long-ago skirmish, enters the room. Kwame doesn't waste words. He slides a sleek tablet across the desk, its screen illuminating photos that hit Olumide like a thunderclap from the gods. There she is, a young woman with skin like polished ebony, her hair styled in protective Bantu knots that speak to quiet pride amid hardship. In one image, she's standing in a snaking line at a Lagos shelter, clutching a tin plate for a meager serving of gari and soup. Another shows her hunched over a sewing machine, mending threadbare wrappers under the harsh glow of a single bulb, her fingers calloused from endless labor. The most gut-wrenching? Her curled up on a thin mat in a dormitory packed with weary souls, the humid night air thick with the sounds of muffled sobs and distant Lagos traffic. Olumide zooms in, his breath catching. Those eyes, deep, soulful, mirroring his late daughter Adana's gaze. The subtle dimple in her cheek, the graceful tilt of her head. It's her, Amara. But how? This is madness, Olumide whispers, his voice trembling like leaves in a harmattan gale. Amara should be in her final year at university, studying medicine, honoring her mother's legacy. She should be attending cultural dances, learning our Igbo proverbs, surrounded by the best tutors money can buy. Not this. Kwame sits forward, his voice a steady anchor in the Yoruba cadence that grounds him. Sir, in my 30 years tracking shadows, from corporate espionage to missing heirs, I've seen it all. The address for those trust transfers? It leads to a palatial estate in Lekki Peninsula, valued at over 5 billion naira. Your late son-in-law's sister, Ngozi, resides there in splendor with her 3 children. They're enrolled in top international academies, jetting off to London for holidays. But Amara, he trails off, eyes hardening. She's been at Hope Haven Shelter in Makoko for 6 grueling months. Before that, a rundown tenement in Suderlere. The landlord remembers her well, a quiet child who rarely ventured out, always under Ngozi's watchful eye. Then, poof, Ngozi packs up, moves to luxury, and leaves Amara on the curb like yesterday's refuse. No warning, no funds, just gone. Olumide's heart races, his custom-tailored agbada feeling like a straitjacket. His physicians have nagged him about stress, his blood pressure climbing with every billion-dollar deal. But this is a betrayal that cuts deeper than any boardroom knife. For 20 long years, he's been the unseen guardian, wiring $33,000 monthly into a trust fund in Amara's name, over $8 million in total. It was meant for everything: private schooling infused with West African history, health checkups at the finest clinics, trips to Enugu for family reunions where elders share stories under the stars, even seed money for her own ventures one day. He trusted Ngozi implicitly. She was family, after all, tied by the blood of his son-in-law, Ibrahim, whose Hausa roots had blended so beautifully with Adana's Yoruba heritage in a wedding ceremony that echoed with djembe drums and kola nut blessings. The memory floods back, sharp as a fresh wound. Adana, Olumide's shining star, had been more than a daughter. She was his legacy incarnate. A trailblazing physician who established free clinics in rural communities, drawing on her West African ethos of Ubuntu. I am because we are. She met Ibrahim at a Pan-African health summit in Addis Ababa, their love a fusion of cultures, her Yoruba vibrancy meeting his Hausa steadiness. They dreamed big, building hospitals, raising a family steeped in tradition. Amara arrived amid joy, but tragedy struck like a serpent in the garden. Ibrahim died in a horrific oil pipeline blast, his body barely recoverable from the flames. Adana, 7 months pregnant, was shattered but soldiered on, whispering to her belly in Igbo, "Nwam, you will be strong like the Iroko tree." Yet during delivery, complications arose, severe bleeding that no doctor could stem. Olumide was there in that sterile Lagos hospital, holding her hand as life slipped away, Amara's first cries piercing the air like a lament. Devastated, a 55-year-old widower buried in Empire Building, Olumide felt utterly lost. Ngozi appeared like a lifeline at the burial rites, where mourners wailed in traditional Hausa dirges. A widow herself, with 3 kids clinging to her wrapper, she offered solace. "Let me raise her, uncle," she said, her voice honeyed with empathy. "In a home full of siblings, learning our ways, Hausa proverbs by day, Yoruba folktales by night. You'll provide, as family does, and she'll grow knowing her roots." It sounded perfect, a balm for his grief. Olumide set up the trust through ironclad lawyers in Zurich and Abuja, monthly infusions, Ngozi as guardian with oversight. He insisted on visits, but Ngozi demurred. It might confuse the little one, stir old pains. Wait until she's older, when she can understand our shared heritage. Drowning in sorrow and deals, Olumide acquiesced, sending embroidered kente cloths, books on Queen Amina, and artifacts from Timbuktu. He told himself it was enough, that wealth could weave the family tapestry he couldn't. But now those photos mock him. He's not just sent money into the ether, he's financed Ngozi's opulence while Amara withered in shadows. Rage builds, a tidal wave. "I need to see her now," Olumide commands, standing with the authority of a man who's toppled rivals. His entourage scrambles, private jet fueled, security detail assembled. Kwame nods, ever the shadow. The flight to Lagos is tense, Olumide staring out at the clouds, replaying every missed birthday, every unanswered question. "How could I be so blind?" he mutters, fists clenched. Lagos greets them with its chaotic symphony, honking danfos, street hawkers peddling plantains, the salty tang of the Atlantic mingling with diesel fumes. Hope Haven squats in Makoko's floating slums, a beacon amid stilted homes on murky waters. It's a repurposed warehouse, walls splashed with murals of African heroines, Funmilayo Ransome-Kuti, Wangari Maathai, inspiring the displaced. Olumide has wired millions to similar havens, but stepping from his armored SUV onto rickety planks, the reality hits. Privilege's blind spot. Inside, the air buzzes with multilingual chatter, Yoruba, Pidgin, Hausa, women stirring pots of jollof rice, children playing with makeshift toys from recycled bottles. The scent of palm oil and hope lingers. Director Fatima Bello, a formidable woman in a flowing hijab and glasses, approaches with cautious grace. Her Hausa accent is warm yet wary. "Welcome, sir. How can we assist?" Olumide straightens. "I'm seeking Amara Adeyemi." Fatima's brow furrows, recognition dawning. Olumide's face graces billboards for his charity drives. "Your relation?" "Grandfather," he replies, the word heavy with unspoken regret. After a probing gaze, she leads them to the communal garden, a patch of defiant green amid urban decay. There, Amara kneels in the soil, her hands nurturing okra seedlings, a silent nod to the farmsteads of her ancestors. She's slender, with Adana's elegant neck and Ibrahim's thoughtful brow, clad in a faded Ankara dress that clings from wear. As she hums a melancholic Hausa melody passed down from Ngozi's half-truths, her face briefly softens, revealing a spark of joy quickly doused by reality. "Amara," Fatima calls gently, "guests for you." Amara rises, dusting her hands, her eyes narrowing at the strangers in fine suits. Up close, Olumide's heart shatters anew. The intelligence in her gaze, the quiet dignity forged in fire. "Who are you?" she asks, voice steady but edged with suspicion, a blend of dialects betraying her isolated upbringing. Olumide swallows hard. "Olumide Adeyemi, your grandfather. Adana, your mother, was my everything." Emotions cascade across Amara's face, bewilderment, a glimmer of hope, then armored doubt. "Aunt Ngozi said you cast us out, that my birth cursed the family, stealing my parents' lives, that you wanted no part of a mixed-blood burden." The words land like poison arrows. Olumide staggers, gripping a post for support. Kwame steadies him as Fatima fetches water. "Lies," Olumide growls, fury lending strength. "All venomous lies. I never blamed you. Your parents' deaths were tragedies, not curses. I've built an $8 million trust for you, $33,000 monthly, every penny for your dreams, your heritage." He thrusts forward the folder, wire transfers, trust documents, a ledger of love misplaced. Amara's fingers tremble as she pores over them, the garden hushed, women peeking from doorways. "Millions! But I scraped by on scraps. No real school, just aunt's harsh lessons at home. No festivals, no family gatherings, just walls and warnings." Tears stream down Olumide's face, unchecked since Adana's wake. "Then where is it?" he demands, voice booming. "Where is your $8 million trust fund?" The echo echoes, a clarion call for truth. The afternoon dissolves into persuasion. Amara hesitates. 2 decades of isolation have made trust a foreign concept. Fatima pulls her aside, whispering in Hausa about kinship's unbreakable bonds, invoking proverbs. "One finger cannot lift a load." It sways her. Amara packs her scant possessions, a tattered journal of secret poems and sketches inspired by library books, the single wedding photo of Adana and Ibrahim, Ngozi's parting cruelty, and a simple cowrie shell necklace, a talisman from her mother. As they board the jet back to Abuja, Amara presses her face to the window, marveling at the shrinking city. "Is this real?" she murmurs. Olumide nods, his hand hovering near hers. "It is, Nwama, and it's only the beginning." Back in the mansion, overlooking Aso Rock's majestic silhouette, Amara steps into a world of wonders. The halls echo with Afrobeat tunes, artifacts from Timbuktu to Cape Town adorning shelves. Housekeeper Chinyere, a jovial Igbo matron with a laugh like rolling thunder, takes charge. "Come, child," she coos, drawing a bath scented with shea butter and lavender, laying out soft robes. She cooks a feast, pounded yam, egusi soup laced with uziza leaves, fresh mangoes. Olumide watches Amara eat tentatively at first, then with relish, her eyes widening at flavors long denied. Conversation flows haltingly. He shares tales of Adana's childhood mischief, Ibrahim's engineering feats. Amara listens hungrily, but shadows linger. That night, Olumide unleashes his arsenal. To forensic accountant Adebayo Musa, dissect every transaction, trace the rot. To attorney Fatima Okafa, forge charges like Excalibur, embezzlement, fraud, endangerment, spare nothing. Then the call to Ngozi. Her voice drips false sweetness. "Uncle, what an honor!" "I have Amara," Olumide says ice cold. A beat of silence, pregnant with guilt. "In a shelter? Surviving on charity while you luxuriate? So answer me, where is your $8 million trust fund?" Ngozi falters. "She's twisting truths. I raised her properly. The money went to necessities." "Prove it," Olumide snaps. "My lawyers are en route." Click. Insomnia grips him. Pacing marble floors, he checks on Amara, who tosses in silk sheets, unaccustomed to comfort. At dawn, he finds her on the balcony, stars fading over the city. "Why no visits?" she asks, voice small. Olumide sighs deeply. "I was a coward, buried in grief and gold. Ngozi fed me excuses. She's settling. Visits disrupt. I swallowed them because facing you meant facing loss. But I never stopped providing, or so I thought." Amara's tears glint. "She called me worthless, a drain, kept me locked away, homeschooling with slaps for wrong answers. No friends, no Eid celebrations, no nothing. Said our culture shunned cursed ones like me." The probe reveals a cesspool of greed. Ngozi diverted funds shamelessly. The Lekki mansion with infinity pools, fleet of Mercedes, her kids' Ivy League prep, annual jaunts to Paris and Dubai for cultural enrichment. Lavish weddings with custom asoebi, diamond jewelry flashing at society galas. Amara? Subsistence, stale eba, ragged clothes, no doctor for fevers. Isolation was calculated, homeschooling hid bruises, prevented reports. At 20, Ngozi ejected her. Adult now, beg if you must. Amara survived streets, dodging dangers, until Hope Haven's embrace. There she devoured library books on nursing, dreaming of Adana's path. In Olumide's haven, Amara unfolds. Chinyere teaches her to cook afang soup, sharing laughs. Olumide shows albums, Adana's graduation in cap and gown, Ibrahim proposing under a baobab tree, videos of family sala feasts, masquerade dances. Amara absorbs it, eyes alight. "I have roots," she whispers. Fortnight later, the reckoning. At Ngozi's villa, marble floors, crystal chandeliers, all on stolen dime, Olumide's team descends. Ngozi opens the door, makeup flawless, but her eyes betray terror at Amara's transformed poise in a tailored gown. "Uncle, please, save it," Olumide thunders, slamming evidence down. The room, opulent with stolen African art, thickens with tension. "Where is your $8 million trust fund?" Ngozi crumbles. Pleading turns to venom. "Adana stole everything, my brother's heart, your favor. Why should her spawn inherit fortunes while my children scrape? I deserved compensation." The confession spills, jealousy festering since Adana's wedding, using Amara as a golden goose, doling cruelty to keep her subdued. Fatima signals, police swarm. Handcuffs click as Ngozi wails. Her teens watch bewildered, innocence in the storm. Olumide arranges their care with kin, vowing support. Trial blazes swift, evidence a bonfire. Bankers testify to forgeries, neighbors to the ghost girl, Fatima to Amara's arrival, emaciated, spirit broken. Amara takes the stand, voice unwavering, years of cages, lies, eviction to streets. Jury? Guilty in hours. 15 years behind bars, assets liquidated, $8 million plus restored to Amara's fortified trust. Months fly. Amara thrives at Ahmadu Bello University, majoring in public health, specializing in orphan care, channeling pain into purpose. Weekends, she volunteers at shelters, teaching pidgin literacy, sharing proverbs. With Olumide, they launched the Adana Ibrahim Legacy Foundation, scholarships for West African youth in crisis, funding clinics, cultural programs. For those invisible, Amara says at the launch, voice ringing. At Adana's Enugu Predev, amid ancestral palms, Olumide kneels. We reclaimed her, my love. She's our legacy reborn. Amara lays flowers, a photo of them together. Parents, I'm whole now, rising for you, for all. In Abuja's glow, they build. Shared suya nights, debates on Pan-Africanism, quiet moments of forgiveness. Amara's thesis concludes, greed fractures, but love mends. I choose to forge chains into ladders for others. This tale of Amara reminds us that betrayal may steal time, but spirit endures. Justice isn't vengeance, it's restoration, turning scars into stars. If this gripped you, smash that like, share with a friend needing hope, comment, what would you do as Olumide? Subscribe for more raw, inspiring stories. Remember, family can wound, but it can also heal. And in healing, we honor our ancestors. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep rising.